biblical prophecy, ancient history gathering dust in forgotten texts. Think again. Today, we're exploring how age-old predictions might be playing out in real time across our modern world, and the patterns are absolutely mind-blowing.
That's such an intriguing way to look at it. Most people probably think prophecy is just about predicting the future, but we're talking about something much more complex here.
Well, let me break this down, starting with what scholars call the proto-evangelion, Genesis 3:15. It's like the original DNA sequence for every major prophetic event that follows. This single verse sets up an epic conflict between good and evil that echoes throughout history.
So how exactly does this ancient text connect to events we're seeing today?
Think of it like this. Throughout history, we see these recurring patterns, these types, as scholars call them. Take the story of Deborah and Barak defeating Sisera. It's not just ancient history, but a template that some believe foreshadows future events. The way Sisera meets his end, the involvement of a woman in his defeat, these elements keep showing up.
Oh, wow. So you're saying these patterns aren't just coincidental? There's actually a method to identifying them?
Exactly. Biblical scholars look for specific markers, like extreme pride, opposition to God's people, claims of divine status. It's fascinating how figures like Nebuchadnezzar and Antiochus Epiphanes fit these patterns. And here's where it gets really interesting. Some scholars see these same patterns playing out in current Middle East conflicts.
That's quite a leap from ancient history to modern events. How do serious scholars approach these connections without falling into speculation?
Well, this is where the concept of hermeneutics comes in. The science of interpretation. There's actually a huge debate between two schools of thought: preterists, who believe most prophecies were fulfilled in the past, and futurists, who see multiple fulfillments leading to an ultimate future event.
So it's like each historical event adds another layer to our understanding?
Precisely. And here's what makes it so fascinating. It requires what scholars call an Eastern mindset. Unlike our Western linear thinking, this approach sees history more like a spiral, where events echo and build upon each other. Think of it like ripples in a pond, each ring connected but expanding outward.
That really challenges our modern way of thinking about cause and effect, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And when we look at recent events, like the situation with Yahya Sinwar and Hamas, some interpreters see striking parallels to prophecies in Isaiah 14. But, and this is crucial, it's not about forcing modern events into prophetic molds. It's about recognizing genuine patterns when they appear.
Well, that makes me wonder about the practical implications. How does this understanding affect how people interpret world events?
So here's the thing. It provides a framework for understanding current events within a larger historical context. Like, when analysing modern Middle East conflicts, people familiar with these prophetic patterns might recognise elements that echo ancient conflicts. But it's more than just matching current events to prophecies. It's about understanding the larger narrative arc of history.
That's fascinating how it combines historical analysis with current events. But how do people avoid seeing patterns where they don't really exist?
That's where careful scholarship becomes crucial. Interpreters look for specific markers, consistent themes, similar language patterns, clear theological connections. And here's something interesting. This approach actually helps prevent wild speculation by providing a structured framework for interpretation.
This whole discussion really changes how we might look at both history and current events, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. Instead of seeing history as a series of random events, this approach reveals an interconnected narrative. And as we wrap up today, I think the key takeaway is this. Whether you're a believer in biblical prophecy or just interested in historical patterns, this perspective offers fascinating insights into how humans make sense of their world and their place in the larger story of history.
And it shows how ancient texts can remain surprisingly relevant to our modern world.
That's exactly right. These ancient patterns might just help us understand where we're heading next. Until next time, keep watching those patterns unfold.